I'm your host, Sharada Devi, of the Born to Be Free podcast that serves as a bridge between the ancient and the new era, a confluence of opposites where all is seen as sacred and every experience is meant to catapult you into your supreme destiny.
Oh, welcome to another episode of the Born to Be Free podcast. I'm Sharada Devi, your host, and I have another very special guest here today for the second episode of the Born to Be Free podcast under this huge, majestic banyan tree. I have the honor to welcome today Vivien. Vivien and I met actually at Daniela Mandala's yoga teacher training. Daniela Mandala, dear sister, with whom I just shot the first episode here in Bali. And we met at the yoga teacher training in Yoga Barn, actually, where I was teaching Vedic knowledge, Dharma, puja. I think that's
Yeah,
like I had a puja I was teaching there,
puja, also Vedanta
Vedantic
teaching.
teachings.
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember Vivian actually, because you were in
I
tears.
was, streaming in
You were
tears.
streaming in tears, and I
Yeah.
felt so connected to you. I
Mm.
just felt, yeah, it's like that when the teachings flow and we feel each other. It's the grace of
Mm.
the universe that flows through, and we start to see how blessed we actually are, even when things are very, very, very challenging.
Mm.
Those challenges become our greatest teachers and they bring us to
Absolutely.
our knees. And puja is such a wonderful way, for me, really the most powerful way, rituals to convert that which is so ugly and painful and difficult into something profoundly beautiful and sacred. And we invoke so much grace, so much daivam when we do a puja, a ritual. So, Vivian, it's such an honor to have you here. Thank you, dear sister.
Ah.
We just come out of a shared immersion in
Mm.
Portugal
Mm.
not so long time ago.
Yeah.
And we're meeting now here again after that immersion called Nectar of You, a very new program of mine that Vivian felt the call to join.
Mm.
And yeah,
Yeah.
please, where are you at? How is your heart after this program in Portugal? How is it to be back in Bali?
Mm.
And let's start there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, just hearing how we met is already brought me back to the moment where I can still remember you were sitting there. We were in this beautiful chalet of yoga barn in this yoga training with Daniela, by the way, like with whom I love so much. Like when I met her, I felt that resonance.
Mm,
It's not just like yoga asana. I've been practicing asana for many years,
mm,
but in her class, I felt this connection to the divine feminine,
mm,
and that's I think what's called me to join her program.
mm,
And then through that, I really felt like that program was a bridge that led me to you.
mm,
Because I can still remember that day you were just teaching. It's not like the knowledge was new, but
mm,
it's the whole resonance, like the transmission that's coming from the way you were sharing.
mm,
Like, I cannot, like, till today, I cannot remember what you said, but the state, the emotion that I felt with
mm,
you, I
mm,
can clearly remember. Like, even when you were talking about that moment, I was crying. I could cry now
mm,
because it was so beautiful. It was like, some part of me was being awakened. Like, you there was like a reminder for me to remember who I was.
mm,
So that resonance was like this deep, old knowledge of
mm,
wisdom was like
mm,
awakening. And I was just feeling overflowing with love. And
mm,
that's what the tears were, like
mm,
overflowing with being moved in my
mm,
heart. So
mm,
that's how we met.
mm.
That heart connection, that womb connection.
Yes,
That
yeah.
really happened simultaneously.
Mm, mm,
So with Portugal, I knew I had to go.
mm,
First of all, I've always been intuitive with like where I want to go.
mm,
So the location Portugal has always been on my map.
mm,
But with this one particularly, it was because I felt the energy of this
mm,
program. And recently, like you said, in life, doesn't matter if you're a teacher or you work in a corporation. And we always face the let's say, the diversity and also the polarity of life, right? There's a
Yeah.
light and there's shadow.
Yeah.
So as much as light that we could be, that I could be, there's also my shadow aspect where I need to constantly like peeling off and opening it and shining the light. So I was actually having a challenging time with my own personal life, personal growth, private life,
Yeah.
and also related to my future. I could feel there's this unseen divine hand that's always been guiding me. Even when I go through pain and suffering, those pain and suffering was there for me to meet someone or to go through something. Or and that retreat is exactly what that is. Like I needed to go there to be with you, to be with all the sisters there and all the brothers there, and then to really have that initiation. That was a whole initiation for me to go up to another level of my own personal growth, and therefore, to bring my teaching and my light to my community.
Yeah.
So
Tell
it's a
us a
long
little bit
story,
about,
though.
yeah, but tell us a little
Yeah.
bit about you, because you said we met and there I reminded you of who you are, but in the world, you're a mother.
Yeah. Well,
You're,
I'm a mother of two children, two
yes,
beautiful boys.
yes.
The fact is that I started this journey was because I couldn't get pregnant. When I was 24, I went through this drama. I had an ectopic pregnancy, and the doctors performed surgeries on me. And after that, they pretty much dropped the bomb on me, and they were like, "Well, you can't have kids anymore naturally. So even let's say you have IVF, and you may still have ectopic pregnancy. So just so you know, it's not looking good." And I was only 24. It was like, like just shattered my mental, emotional, everything. Like I was really going through a tough time, and
Can you
that
explain what ectopic
oh,
pregnancy is for when the egg,
that's when the embryo is not landing into the womb,
womb in
which
itself?
is the right space for them to develop, and they end up inside of the tube on the side, on my left side actually. Then in that case, it could be even threatening for many women, because as the embryo grow, the blood vessels could explode and then causes internal what do you call it, bleeding,
Yeah.
internal bleeding, and then
Yeah.
that could be really like life
Life
death if you
threatening.
don't catch it
Yeah.
early enough.
Yeah.
So to be honest, I think because I had such a, like all spiritual, not all, but many of us, we go through pains in life and challenging childhood. So I think my body was just like so sad and inflamed. So nothing was working. I was getting sick all the time. I had to go to the hospital. They inject me with like all different types of antibiotics, and I'm pretty sure, I'm 100% sure that my gut flora was all messed up, and that impacts all the bacteria system. That impacts your whole health system. So my feminine part, my second chakra, was like really blocked. Let's say, right? So it was, yeah, very much inflamed. That's why it caused that. So yeah, I had that big, sort of the biggest thing happen in my life, let's say, in at that time. So after that, I started doing yoga, and I loved yoga.
And
I
you're
was,
originally
yeah,
from China, right?
China,
Yes,
yes,
yes.
yes. And back in the days, when yoga came to China, it was a different path, because when yoga went to the West, it brought the whole system, right? The teaching, the Vedanta, the meditation, and the asana. For some reason, when yoga came to China, initially, it was mostly just asanas and a little bit ayanga for alignment and a little bit meditation and pranayama, but not a big deal. Like they were, let's say, maybe 20, maybe 10% of the whole teaching. So when I was practicing, even though with the best teachers in China, something was missing, and I felt something was missing. So when I was 30, I got into coaching. So yeah, this is a big deal for me actually.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
coaching is a
yeah.
big part of your story.
The coaching
Vivian's
was a
story is incredible. Like,
yeah. The funny thing is, when I was 24, they performed the surgery, and after
Yeah.
surgery, I was in the hospital for like a long time. So I was bored. So I was checking out, back in the days, no Netflix, but just like TV shows. I was watching this TV show, and there was this character. Her thing was like she was a coach. She was helping this young boy, and I didn't even know what coaching was. I was like, I felt that. My body felt the connection to that profession. I'm like, that could be something I'm super good at. For some reason, I just had that feeling, but then my head goes in, is like, oh, whatever, you know,
It's not for me.
not for me, not
Uh-huh.
for you. You don't even know what it is, but it was like a seed, you know, planted already in my womb that was hurt back in the days. I would say,
Yeah.
you know, I
Yeah.
was sharing with you or before a couple of months ago about like the traumatized feminine to the divine feminine. I really felt like in my younger years that I was the embodiment of the traumatized feminine. So I
Yeah.
was so sad. I was depressed. I was getting sick and with, you know, and not able to conceive child anymore.
Yeah.
Naturally, just it was a lot.
Yeah.
I was not good. I was not well.
Mm.
So I had to search for something.
Mm.
So by age of 29, despite how wonderful my life looked on the outside, you know, I had a big flashy job and living in the city and having the life and parties.
So the lights just went out from the
Absolutely.
being in the
The
party.
party light,
Yeah, the
and
party light.
now the light goes out.
What happened?
So actually, metaphorically
Yeah.
and now energetically, physically is happening. The light just went out. I felt like my light went out
Yeah.
because I was so depressed that it was hard for me to get up in the morning.
Mm. 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 Yeah, anyone who's feeling this, just invite you to place your hand on your heart or on your womb or energetic place of your womb or your belly,
Mm.
if you're not identifying with being a woman, or if you're a man or non-binary. Just place your hand anywhere on your body.
Yeah,
Just feeling that.
yeah. It was definitely the dark night of my heroine's journey. I just remember the whole world was like physically gray in my perception. I was so numb. Like everything stays on superficial, transactional level. I wasn't even able to go deep with myself. I was just like in such suffering. At one point, I can't even drink alcohol. I don't even like it. And I
And
was
you're
like,
Asian.
and I'm Asian. I can't handle
I'm
alcohol.
Asian as well. I drink a little bit of alcohol, poof, I
Poof,
get
so
red like
red.
a crab.
Yeah, like there's no enzyme in my body to digest alcohol. So I remember I was medicating with myself with alcohol, and then my friend got this like sleeping pills, Vicodin. It's like super illegal, not super,
Uh-huh.
little bit without the prescription, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, because it was hard for me to sleep and it's hard for me to get up. It's like, oof.
Mm, mm,
Wow, it was so dark. I was like, I cannot just continue to live like this. There's gotta be something else. It's gotta be a better life. I want to feel good. I want to be light. I just had this huge desire for evolution,
mm,
for healing, for transformation. It was so painful there. Like it was rock bottom. And you know what they say, when you hit rock bottom, there's nowhere else you can go but rise up. So yeah, and
What did you
then
do?
books start to come in.
Mm,
And this invisible hand I was
mm,
talking about started to come in. It's like
mm,
almost like my prayer was being
okay.
answered, literally.
Prayers of support.
Prayers and support and
Support.
divine masculine.
Yeah, the divine masculine. Now we just have our
Yeah.
brother coming here,
Yeah.
bringing us tea. That's
Oh,
so
thank you
sweet.
so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
brother. Japanese
Wow.
ashitabati.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Oh, this is so divine. Like, yeah, actually, when the help came, it was definitely connected with the masculine energy, you know, and then through a few friends and intimate relationship, I was able to receive a few books that really changed my life. And then I was like, I want to go to Bali. I was 30. I was like, I want to go to Bali. I want to go to India. Like, then the seeds start to sprout so fast once I started to like having these intentions, you know. And then job opportunities came to me, and then they were hiring me to work in the ashram in India. So I was able to go to India and study with all the Vedic teaching and all the healing modalities and all the meditations. It was amazing. And I felt so much better after India. But then I got into coaching. I was able to work with like amazing masters from all over the world, from Canada, North Americas, and Europe. And I was learning different modalities like in quantum NLP and neuro linguistic programming, obviously, and then coaching in general and hypnotic work, like you name it, family constellation. I was there. And I was also lucky because I spoke such good English and I was offered to work as an interpreter and a co-facilitator on stage. So I was able to really learn skills of facilitation at the same time translating. So everything the teacher says, I'm like this transmitter, not only transmitting and translating the language, but also the energy, the emotional state. So my vessel need to be super clean for that. And because the teaching came in, so energetically my vibration need to go up. And sometimes the teaching is up here and my vibration was still here back in the days. The depression comes back and then the anxiety comes up and then all of that was there to be seen and to be held and to be transformed. So I really, through these years of like coaching and learning how to coach and offering my service to people in China, not only we build this beautiful platform called Life Blooms in China
Yes.
that
Which is
supports
a big
women.
thing in China. Can you just
Yeah.
say a few things
Yeah.
about
So
building a
yeah.
coaching?
Yeah, I never
I mean,
thought
in
about it.
China, you don't
I
have the same privileges
yeah.
like in Europe or
Yeah. Yeah, I was really lucky. I was meeting with the top coaches, like master certified coaches of the world.
yeah.
And I was working with so many coaches. And then I realized I'm a projector in human design. I'm also like a highly sensitive person. So whatever
Or
there and
highly receptive, the brother would call it.
yeah, exactly. So everything flows through my vessel. And then if I'm working with someone who's, let's say, a bit heavy or they're anxious and I take on their feelings so much. And I was just like figuring it out through the learning journey. And until one day I met this amazing man. He was just like this divine light. His name is Zoran, by the way. He's huge in China. And I was working with him and I was just feeling so much bliss. And after the whole week of training, I don't feel tired. I feel light. I feel happy. I'm like, there's something special about this man. And then I decided to just like not follow him, but like work with him, and also follow him. Not following in that sense like a guru. He is my mentor. He's like my mentor, but also he's like my work husband. He's my soulmate. He's my brother. He's a lot to me, and we work with a coaching school called Evolutionary Coaching in China. And in Europe, they also have a company called TNM, so which is a big coaching company that serves a lot of conscious business. And, he's doing amazing work. So, and from there, I was really committed to become a coach because I saw good embodiment. A lot of coaches you meet and they're trying to make it, and sometimes on the stage and behind the stage, on the scene, behind the scene, can be not fully aligned.
Yeah.
So I wasn't, first couple of years, I was not fully convinced. I thought, okay, this is useful because it worked on me, on my traumas. I could witness it was working on other people. But I was like, do I want to be that? Because sometimes I see the behind the scene, because I work with them. So I see
Yeah.
everything. I was like, I'm not 100% sure. I wasn't fully convinced until I met Zoran. I was like, he's beautiful, inside and out. He's wealthy, successful, handsome, even stylish. And he has such a beautiful community he built in Ibiza. And also in China, he just shows up in love. And everybody loved him. And he loves everybody. I was like, wow, that is
It's possible.
It's possible. I see the masculine version of who I could be. So I'm
The
like,
king.
okay, the king.
Sounds like a king.
He is the king. He definitely is a king. He's so adored, and I adore him. So I was like, all right. So I'm gonna commit to coaching. So I really commit myself, and I became a professional life certified coach. And then I've been coaching for more than 10,000 hours, which is what you need to dedicate to become a master certified coach. And, next year I'm going to get my paper just for the world, not for myself, but for the world. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's my whole coaching journey that I'm so passionate, like for me, everyone needs coaching.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Like
amazing.
with a
Why would we
coach,
not?
why would we
Like,
not?
why would we do things alone when we can support each other
Yeah,
and
yeah,
elevate each other,
yeah,
celebrate each
yeah,
other? It's
exactly.
amazing. Coaching
Absolutely.
was I
I
Yeah,
love
I love
coaching.
coaching.
And I do notice
And
if
there's
you,
different types of coaching. I
yeah,
mean,
exactly.
yeah,
That's where
just
I'm
to
going
say,
in.
right? Yeah.
If we just stays on the transactional
Yeah.
coaching on the mind level, asking questions
Yeah.
and powerful questions, but without dropping into the body, without tuning into the intuition, without tuning into the heart intelligence, the womb intelligence, the gut intelligence, coaching can be very limited.
Mm.
And that's why some people study coaching and they get stuck because of the energetics. They're focused so much on the head level, but they're forgetting all the wisdom is carried by this sacred vessel, this whole body, you know? So then when I was learning from these masters, and some of them are still very much on the head level, and some like Zoran is like whole body coaching, energetic field. So I realized I got to dive deeper. Then I was like, I gotta go to, I gotta go. Actually, this is before I met Zoran. Before I met Zoran, I had a challenging relationship. I have a strong lover archetype. So I had this relationship. I was
Yes,
just going
tell us about
nuts.
the challenging relationship,
Oh my God, it
the
was so
juicy part.
hard. Yeah. And I was just exhausted in that relationship. And then I met this new man, which is like something I really desire intelligence, soft, gentle. But I was also afraid of that. I wasn't fully confident. So I was still growing because I was developing my other skills. But in terms of like deep with my intimate relationship, it's too deep in the core. The wound is too deep. I haven't really touched on that so deeply yet.
Yeah.
So I was suffering in my private life again with my relationship. And I thought, oh my God, I've been serving for 3-4 years now in the coaching field in this, profession of being in the service to others for their evolution. And I was like, I gotta do something for myself. I gotta serve myself also. Then I'm like, it's time to go to Bali,
Mm.
And then I bought a ticket. I got my girlfriend. I'm like, let's go to Bali. I don't know what's gonna happen, but let's go. I feel like something is gonna happen there. So she just trusted me, and she came with me. And back in the days, she was a supermodel in Hong Kong. And then she came to Bali, and she did the whole like journey with me. I met this amazing teacher, Amy Rochelle. She was my first teacher for detox and for Ayurveda. And I studied detox with her and also energetics. And I got into energetics with her and then the toning with your voices. And she was an initiator for me in at that
Yeah.
time where I met Michael, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
the whole story. So after the whole training with her, I felt so good. My body, I mentioned the inflammation that caused my body to get sick all the time, gone,
Gone. Completely gone.
completely gone. I was not well for years. And then I was so well. I stopped taking any Western medication since that training.
And you did purely detox.
Purely
What
detox,
kind of
purely
detox?
nourishment. Like Amy was more of she was very strict with like detox protocols. So less Ayurveda approach, but more like raw food and juice fast, and also like decoctions with the tea. So because I have a lot of pitta, which means I have a lot of fire in me. The pitta people, when we're imbalanced, we get inflammation in the body, which comes in many forms. So that whole raw food and vegan and juice detox and decoction worked on my dosha at that time. At that time. And because I'm a pitta, when something works for me, I'm like, oh
Yeah,
my
you
God,
catch it.
this is so good. I gotta bring
Go
it to
for it.
more people. And then I signed up the whole year of mentorship with her and studying and learning of detox. And I was back in China already. I just kept doing it because I loved it. My body loved it. It's not even my mind. My mind didn't make any decision. I just followed my body. I was like doing my protocols and doing my, new diet. I was feeling so good. I was waking up 6 o'clock in the morning, feeling light and happy. And my body is like just also slimmed down. And then I physically looked younger. And my skin started to shine. And I start to shine. And then my relationship was healed a little bit. Like I was suffering, and then it's like, you know what, my perspective changed, and maybe I can make it work. And then this man became the father of my life. I mean, father of my children.
Yeah.
Became an
Which is
important.
also your life.
Yeah, which is also in my life.
Your
Yeah,
children.
yeah. It was definitely a karmic thing. So, long story short,
Oh.
because of this journey,
Yeah.
healing and coaching and yoga, my body was healed naturally. So I got pregnant
Wow. And
and I
they told you that you
conceived.
cannot have
No, they told me I
baby
cannot
when you
never have a
were
baby naturally ever
24 years
again.
old.
Yeah, and then by age of 34, which is a 10-year
Cycle.
cycle, I was pregnant.
Wow.
And by then, I already learned how to use my bodily wisdom. I
Wow.
tuned in, I meditated. I knew it was in the womb. I knew it was healthy without any checkups. So, but then I go to the Western doctor just to confirm,
Yeah.
just to show that I know,
Yeah.
like my intuition is
Yeah.
right. And of course, it was right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's the moment I met Zoran. And then my life just like shifted and changed and transformed in multiple layers. Yeah, and then I realized the energetics is so important. I just kept learning and deepening my teaching, and also my own learning journey, and that's how I met Danny, and I was like, oh, when I met her, I felt that energetic connection, and then I met you. So long story short, now it's not a short story. It's my lifelong journey. With Portugal, yeah. I've been in a beautiful relationship with a man.
Yeah.
He is such a compassionate, beautiful being. Is so helpful to many people, and he's also in the cause of this yoga and moving the consciousness. And a really respectful, honoring man. And I just been feeling like it's time for us to uncouple, which is a very painful process for me because we've been together for 4 years and we built a really solid life together. He treats my kids like his own. And they love him and he loves them and everything looks so perfect on the surface, and he has his yoga center and I'm helping him, he's helping me, and we're co-creating so many beautiful projects together. And I realize that for my soul, for my heart, it's time to transform the relationship, to uncouple in terms of intimacy,
Yeah.
but maybe still continue with like soul level projects. But but still, it's a breakup,
It's a breakup. Yeah.
and it's hard.
Yeah.
It has been very difficult. Like it's almost like he's my safety net. He has been my safety net. He has been the ground that has been holding me, so I'm safe, so that I can just go out there and do my work and be the woman that I can be. And
Yeah.
because I receive so much love and support from him, it's like when the idea of leaving him and leaving this relationship, it was like the guilt and the shame and the pain and fear of hurting him and fear of like I won't be well. It's just like all messed up together. And at the same time I could feel something's shifted and it's not aligned anymore. I need to just like go somewhere else,
Yeah.
metaphorically and actually physically.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could feel it, but I couldn't verbalize it back then. Whew. So I didn't know what to do, to be honest. Like even given like I've been coaching other people, and
Yeah.
then the funny thing is like all my coaching clients came with a similar
Similar
topic,
story?
similar story. Like
Yeah.
they're uncoupling, but they find it hard. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, of course,
Yeah.
of course.
Of course. Yeah.
So it's like
Sacred
calling
mirrors.
me, sacred mirrors, and calling me to really do my work.
Yeah.
I authenticity is a big thing for me. For me to coach my client to do my work, I cannot just stand there and talk the talk and not
Embody.
walk
And
the
walk
walk.
it.
Yeah. So I'm like, I need support. I need support. Who can I trust? Who do I know that could be the amazing support for me to make my next metamorphosis, my next transformation? And then you came to me.
Aw.
And then I didn't even know it was going to be like tantric related, to be honest. I just felt like my intuition says, go. You don't need to think. You don't even need your head. Just go. My heart, my womb, my soul was so clear. I'm like, okay, don't need to think about it. Remember, you were like explaining details to me. I said, honey, stop explaining to me. I don't need this. I'm coming. I'm okay
Yeah.
with everything
Yeah.
that's going to happen.
Yeah. I ask you, are you sure? Like you
Yeah, I'm like,
you know what's gonna come? Like,
yeah, I don't know, but I
Yeah.
know I will receive everything.
Yeah.
That I know.
Mm.
Ooh. So I knew.
Yeah.
I knew it's gonna
Yes.
be the boom.
The boom.
The boom, the boom. You know, like back in the days, the boom, like Amy's retreat that helped me to receive the biggest gift of my life, my children, my two beautiful children.
No, I don't know that about that story.
Yeah, yeah, because of her retreat, I learned
Ah.
detox.
Oh, yeah, right, Amy. Okay, from
Yeah,
the
Amy
detox,
Risha
right?
from the detox.
Right, gave it the children to heal the
Yeah, to
boom, the
heal the physical
inflammation, and the
body, right?
two children came.
Yeah, the
That was
children
the
came.
boom. Okay, I get it.
That's a big
Yeah,
boom.
that's a big boom.
Because of that, to be honest, how I start establish my own healing platform in China, you know, the life bloom thing.
Life bloom, exactly. I
Yeah,
was also
life
kind
bloom
of
because
like,
I
okay.
started to bloom. Now it's like the penny's dropping. Yeah, because so many things happen in my life. It's hard to put it on a flat line.
How many lives?
Yes,
One life,
it
are we
feels like
talking?
so many lives together. Yeah, because I like some of the people knew that I had that issue. I may have shared in some stories and teachings. And then when I had the kids, and then my body recovered so fast, and I was still able to like do my work. I would work from like, because my coaching is intense. The
Yeah.
training we go from like 9 o'clock, sometimes till 6, 7, sometimes till 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So for me to work like that and still keep my energy and having children, other
Yeah.
women thought, how did you do it?
Yeah.
So they started to come to me
Yeah.
to ask, what's your secret? I said, I do have some ways. I may show you. I be your way shower, you know? So that's how I started the whole business. It just came naturally. Yeah. So that was the boom then for my beautiful Lennox and Leon. And I knew this is going to be the boom for the next, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know it's going to be exciting. I could feel it because this year I'm turning 44. Together,
Eight.
8.
Lakshmi.
Exactly. Lakshmi Infinity. It's going to be a big game. I don't even know how big it's going to be. I'm not surrendering to that. I'm not limiting it. I'm not limiting it with my own limiting mind. I'm just going to surrender it to the divine universe and the creator. So yeah, I was, plus I was suffering. I knew, I just knew. So
Yeah.
when I was in Europe, we had our first coaching session. To be honest, I'm a coach. You know how coaches are picky with other coaches? It's like, imagine this, you're a top level masseuse. So when you choose someone to touch your body, that someone is going to be someone you really trust. You really know, they know how to touch you. They know how to touch. They understand the art of touching. So with coaching is really the same. So there aren't so many people who is able to like coach me. I'm not saying it from an ego place. I really like, I knew. I'm intuitively, I knew. There are a few people in my life who coaches me, you know, like Zoran, like Lisa, which is another, whom is another amazing coach, just off the chart, amazing, psychic, coaching, everything. So, but felt like with this topic particularly, it's going to be you. I don't know why, but I know. So in our coaching session, everything just started to drop into the right space. And you remember it was a deep, profound.
Yeah, you were in a hotel.
I was in the hotel, but I
In
was
the
like
lobby.
in the lobby, but I was
Like, do you feel safe? Restore, safe?
I was like, you know what? I have my energetic field. I don't care what others think of me. If I'm in process, I'm in process. So yeah, I was in process.
Yeah, yeah.
Deep in process with you in a space. And then when you started chanting towards the end, yeah, it was magic for me. I don't know how to like articulate that, but let's just say your energy and the way you asked me questions, not only they were the perfect question, but also from the energetics, how gentle they were, how natural, organic they emerge out of this co-created space, and how that space can support me to drop so deeply with myself to face my own shadow. It was a huge thing. You know, I really believe because of that, I was able to just like let go of all my head stories and go into the truth. Hey, this is something I dislike. Oh, there's something that is inside of me. Oh, I need to change that something into light. I need to become gentleness. I need to become that that divine masculine that I desire. So that became clear. Mm. So that was the first coaching session, was already transformative. So of course, naturally, I was really looking forward to the Portugal journey. And before Portugal, I had my retreat in Iceland.
In
I was
Iceland.
teaching. So we had the coaching session. I was in Amsterdam. After Amsterdam, I went to Iceland to coach, to lead the retreat with Zoran, with our thing. I received so much gifts in Iceland, the raw power from the earth, the fire and the ice, and just the polarity and I was just feeling like, I'm on the journey already with you, even though I'm teaching, but our Portugal retreat has already initiated for me. And through that, the whole retreat in Iceland, and every night I would have a reflection time with my partner, work partner, Zoran. And one night he just had a download. He says, Viv, I think it's a good idea you start a celibacy, like whole year celibate. Just take this whole year for yourself. Take all the love you have, all the attention you have for other people, for your partner, bring all of that back to your own.
I have truth bumps.
Yeah. And he said that. I felt it right away. I'm like, yes. Like,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, it's done.
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
1 year.
Celibate 1 year. Like, to be honest, when I was in India, like years ago, when I was 31 or 32, obviously in ashram, you have to be celibate. I find it so difficult. It was banned, right? Of course, I couldn't have any intimacy with anyone else, but like, so challenging.
You didn't know about self-pleasure at that time in the
I
same
do know,
way. You
but
didn't
not
know
in
it?
this way
Same
that
way that
we
we now
did,
know.
It was back in the days, I felt like it was more of addiction.
Yeah.
Like I use it to ease my pain,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would like, it's more, let's just take that as a comparison. Like when I was in India, in ashram, obviously it was banned. On day one, they tell you everything, okay? Not even self-pleasure.
They told you that
They told
also?
me not even self-pleasure. So it's almost like you're hungry, but you can't eat. You're fasting because someone told you to fast. So I was doing a fast on sex, even self-pleasure. Every night I was in bed, I was like, oh, fuck. Turning, tossing. Don't go there. It's not allowed. Okay. So after 2 weeks, it was too much. So I broke the rule.
You tell Aphrodite not to pleasure herself. Basically.
I broke, to be honest, I
Yeah.
broke the rule.
Yeah.
I was self-pleasuring maybe 1 or 2 times, maybe
Yeah.
3 times even. But because it wasn't coming from my soul,
Yeah.
it was so hard.
Yeah.
But when Zoran said,
Yeah. That's different.
it's so
Different
different.
story.
My womb,
Yeah, I can feel that.
my yoni, my heart, my body says yes.
Yeah.
Yes to that, because it's not just not having sex.
No.
It's much more than that. It's about self-love. It's about like bring all the juiciness back to myself. So that seed was planted. So after the Iceland, I worked in China. I did a few workshop, and then it was time to get on the plane to come to Portugal. And usually I have my travel angels. I don't know if you guys know about travel angels. If you haven't got your travel angels, you gotta have them.
What are travel agents? Tell us.
Basically, this unseen hand. You just have to be like, speak to your angels, because angels cannot help us unless they get the permission. So I started to practice with the energetic forces. I'm like, if I don't drive, like for example, Zoran has his parking angels. Like the parking angel has a name. Always find him a perfect parking spot. For me, it's like my travel angels always get me like a better seat on the plane. Someone who would come to me like, can I switch with you? I'm like, you have better seat. Like this seat is more expensive. He said, no, I want to sit with my wife. I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. And I end up in a higher class on the plane where I can rest much better. Or sometimes it's like everyone is stuck somewhere because a plane is broken, but I need to go to the States and I need to go to get to the next destination on time. And then I'm ending up riding first class on a plane, flying to my next destination. Things like that would
Ta-da-da-da,
just
the light is
happen.
back.
Yeah, now the light is
The light is back.
because I'm going to Portugal.
Nectar of you.
The nectar of you. So the light comes in, right? Your angel comes in. When you give the permission, the angel do come in. So the mind work, the energetic work, and how we align everything. So yeah, so I go to the airport and I look at my tickets. I have um, two plane ride, all like 8 hours, 9 hours long. So I had to ride from Shanghai, no, Beijing to Dubai and then Dubai to Lisbon. So, and I realized I'm sitting in the middle of two people I haven't met yet, both flights. So, middle, like
Yeah.
yeah, it's the worst, basically. I'm like, hey, angels, what's up?
What's up? Do they
But
have their own WhatsApp number?
I don't know. What's up? So basically, I trust them so much. When something like this happened, I knew they got something sweet for me. Because I didn't even doubt the bad seat. I did not even complain one word. I'm like, that's interesting. Okay, I wonder what may happen. So the first plane ride, I meet this like very German guy who is an engineer and ended up talking to me about cosmic love. And ended up telling me stories of him and his soulmate, how much he loves her, and he would sing to her every morning, literally sing to her every morning. I'm like, I'm talking to this guy. I'm like, what do you sing to your love? And he goes like, Guten Morgen, Guten Morgen, and he just started to sing. I was laughing my butt off. I was like, okay. So whatever the universe is trying to tell me is trying to show me, like, like life can be, you know, um, I'm still trying to figure out that message because he is such a light spirit, but he's a engineer. But everything he shared with me was so spiritual, to be honest. He's like, why do you need to change and transform to be better? You're already better now. You're the best now. Hello, right? So like the angels are in
Yeah.
disguise
Yeah.
in human's form.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
everything he was sharing was angelic.
Yeah.
It was just like light. He was a pure light,
Right.
to be honest. Yeah, that was a resonance like of one quality of a divine masculine, I believe. When you have a man who is grounded, also worldly successful,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He made it,
Yeah.
and he's doing his work in the worldly environment, three-dimensional world. At the same time,
Dharmic ways.
dharmic way,
Supporting
exactly.
the
He's
cosmic sun
serving, exactly.
harmony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the same time, he's so, so beautiful. And his heart's so young.
Mm.
And he's so open. His perspective is so positive. Like, really, everything he shared was gold. Yeah. And he says to me, he says, Vivien, when you speak, my heart feels warm. German engineer we're talking about.
Guten Morgen.
Yeah. Singing every morning to his love. So after that ride, I was like, wow, thank you, God. Thank you, travel angels. I know the story sounds really long. Like it almost like it's small and trivial, but it's not. Because something like this looks trivial in maybe some perception, some eyes, but it's huge. It's really huge because these are the signs. Let's say God or the universe, the creator, the goddesses is dropping these little signs. So for us to see, hey, you're on the right path.
Yeah. We call them
You know,
lakshanas in Sanskrit.
Lakshana.
Indications.
I call it serendipity
Serendipity.
or synchronicity,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, beautiful.
Mm.
So the second ride, I'm stuck in this two beautiful lady. I didn't want to disturb them. They were
Also,
all very
both you were also in
polite.
the middle
I'm
again.
yeah, two rides, both in the middle seat. At one point, I'm like, no, my yogi self need to move. I cannot just sit there for 8, 9 more hours without moving. So me being me, I stand at the emergency
Yeah.
exit. I started my yoga.
I do the same.
I'm like, I don't care what people think. I need to move. And I'm sure they're not feeling so great either. Maybe they be inspired. That's my best wish. So I started moving. I was doing my yoga, that's suitable for the plane, that I don't look ridiculous, putting my legs up you know. So after like 20, 30 minutes, the lady who was sitting at the front row of emergency exit, she was reading at first and then she was seeing me and she finally stood up. She says, you know what? I need to do some yoga too. I inspire someone.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah. And then we were standing there in tree pose and started talking. the moment she spoke, I knew we are on similar path.
Mm.
She was talking about synchronicity, journeys, transformation. And then she mentioned the word celibacy.
Oh, wow.
And then she started talking about her relationship issues, the patterns. I'm like, oh my God, her patterns are my patterns. In that moment, again, I was her sacred mirror. She was my sacred mirror. And I said to her, I said, sister, you don't know this, but finish your story and I need to share my stories with you. And then she basically shared her story with me. And I do have her consent to share the stories because I wrote the story. I said, at one point, I may publish it. I hope it's okay. And she gave the consent, you know. So basically, this amazing woman, she just got divorced not long ago because she was stuck in her marriage and she didn't feel like herself. She's losing her power. She was getting depressed and then she was serving her husband and she was being basically, you know, the terminology, the people pleaser. So she was doing her best to take care, to please. I have that big time too in my relation. That was also part of the thing that I need to like work it through. The Aphrodite, the lover archetype, when we have too much of it or when we're not super balanced, we forget about boundaries. We try to merge, and when we merge, we forget what's yours, what's mine. His feelings becomes my feelings. You know, what he wants becomes what I want, and then I started to the boundaries start to get like vague and more until I exhaust myself. So I experienced so much like burnout, you know, last some years. But I own that accountability fully myself because if we blame the other person, there's no use because the true dharma is to come back to self and see, he's there to remind me to work on my boundaries, to bring balance to my lover archetype. So basically, this lady that I met now became my sister as well. She has a similar pattern, let's say, you know, strong lover archetype. So after her divorce, she was like, she decided to just take the whole year of celibacy and bring all the love, all the attention she used to bring to her husband,
To
now back
herself.
to herself.
Yeah.
So now you can see
Now you
the,
can see.
yeah, you can see
Yes.
the mirrors. Yeah. And then she was like, and then the second goal of hers is to be like really abundant so that she can bring abundance to other people. And one of my goals that's related to my next evolution is also related to Lakshmi, related to abundance, because one of the things is that like I was afraid I have two boys, I have to make it in the big city. If I break up in this relationship, how am I going to really make it financially? I mean, really, I mean, I do well. I already do well. I've been supporting my kids for many years. I was just thinking, it just felt like it, it didn't. I didn't feel fully confident financially for some reason.
Well, we know we explored
Yeah,
that in the Nectar of You.
yeah,
Also, there's
yeah.
with
We
the
did.
story with
Yeah, we did with
your
my father and my
father,
mother. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, my
Yeah.
partner has been that stability. I feel like
Yeah.
okay, if something fails, I have this.
Yeah.
He can support.
Hold you.
He can
Yeah.
host me.
Yeah.
You know, we'll be okay.
Yeah.
But that's not what my soul wants. My soul doesn't want just be okay.
No.
My soul wants big game, lots of abundance, not just for myself. I want to be taken care of. Don't get me wrong. And I want my children to be taken care of. And I want to take care of more people. But I must become that before I can take care of more
Exactly.
people. You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
So, and then she started talking about her story and says, you know, now financially I'm retired. And when she said that, I'm like, excuse me, did you say you're financially retired? She said, yeah. I'm like, then you must be rich. She said, yeah. I'm like, then why are you not in first class? She said, it's a funny story. I had an intuition. She says, I had an intuition when my assistant calls me to book a flight for me. She says, you know, normally you fly first class or business class. I forgot which class she was talking about. A better class.
And I'm not yawning because I'm
Okay.
tired. I yawn because I'm releasing energy. Just
Yeah.
so you know.
So she was like,
For those that are watching, those that
yeah.
are listening to the podcast, you don't see
Yeah.
that, but for those that are watching,
Yeah.
releasing.
So
Oh.
yeah, she was like, yeah, I'm financially very much retired. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Usually I don't ask people about money because that's rude. But exactly,
Is it rude?
I'm like, but I'm fucking sorry about that word. I am inspired by you because that's my goal as well. I know I have the Lakshmi in me. I had people, I have gurus come to me and saying, you have Lakshmi, you are Lakshmi. And I knew, but I forget. This part forgets. So I know there's a trauma that's holding me back. It's not that I'm not, I am, but the trauma has been holding me back. So when she says she's fully abundant and financially retired, I'm like, I'm not going to be afraid about money and worry about what other people think of me. But I want to know. I was like, I want to know how you did it. And then she said, yeah, I invested in crypto, of
Of
course.
course.
And then at the very beginning stage, and I never sold, of course. So yeah, she's fully financially abundant, and then now she's fully dedicating her money, her time into helping children who are in needs, helping people who really need money. So you see, when good people have money,
They gotta be shared. We just talked about that in the previous episode.
yeah,
And the
this
way
is
that says that all dharmis be wealthy because then the wealth is shared
yes,
equanimously with
yes.
generosity.
Thank
Because
you.
there are enough resources for this whole entire planet.
I'm getting goosebumps because since I was a kid, I was looking at this world. I was thinking to myself as a child, we have so much resources. Why some people have no houses, no food, and some people have so many houses all over the world? Why? Why can't everyone has a decent, beautiful life? Why not? My child self has been asking that question for years. And of course, this is again our dharma to
And the
bring that
karma. Yeah.
reality, to manifest that in this lifetime or even next lifetime, you know? So yeah. And she's working on that. And she was telling me also, she's like, I've been meeting some divine masculine. And with each and every one of them, I've been taking the qualities that they embody that I love and putting it on my manifestation list for my next man that I'm fully ready for. So when this relationship shows up, I'm not being with this man to please him. And he doesn't need to please me because I have decentralized my life. I have my accountant.
Decentralize my life.
She
Yeah.
literally used that word.
Decentralized, it comes from crypto
Yeah.
because it's
Yes.
decentralized.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
in that business, so
Yeah,
she
yeah,
used
yeah,
that
totally. Yeah.
vocabulary. And it's such a beautiful
Yeah,
vocabulary
it
as
is.
well,
Yeah.
decentralized. She says, I have my girlfriends who I share beautiful love with. And she's like, I find sisterhood is one of the most nourishing resources we can all enjoy. So my house in Portugal is like a hub for all my girlfriends. They can come, we spend
Oh,
time, you know, and then we just nourish each other. So when this man shows up, he's just gonna be the cherry on a sundae. I already have my sundae, you know. Hello, that's exactly what I envisioned. My soul
it's like
envisioned for me.
when he's coming into this full
Yeah,
palace mansion.
yeah.
And he goes, it's a palace and it's a mansion.
Yeah,
No lack.
yeah, no lack. There's zero lack.
Zero lack.
Yeah, so there's no neediness to be needed. Yeah, there's no fear of not good enough
And
that
we want to
I,
really just
yeah.
a little note, like this may sound totally.
Does it sound ridiculous?
It may, like you
Okay.
remember at one point
Yeah.
when you were not there,
Yeah.
as
Yeah, I
though not
remember
there.
that.
Like I know that you may be listening to this and
Yeah.
like this sounds all amazing, but it's never gonna be me. And
Yeah.
if you have that
Yeah,
feeling,
yeah. I had that feeling
I
too,
had
by
that
the
feeling
way.
too. Like
Yeah.
it's never gonna be. This is for the other people.
Yeah. My mantra back in the days
Yeah.
was she's lucky. I'm never
Yeah,
that
never.
lucky.
And then you start to like compare.
Yeah.
I'm not beautiful enough. I'm
Yeah.
not
Or
to
I'm
know
not
enough.
lucky
I'm
enough.
not
For
lucky
me, it's
enough.
like I'm not lucky
Lucky.
enough. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not true. I want
Yeah.
to tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're
Completely not true.
all equally powerful and have the capacity. It may just take it does take the time it takes.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And
And it is not ridiculous in any way.
yeah.
It's actually the life-giving grace
Mm.
ever here already.
Mm. Yeah.
And yet,
Yeah. And she shared the stories of
yeah.
I met this new brother. We were just sharing stories and they were inspired by me. I was inspired by them. I need to travel from one city to another and I need to go. And they were like, Sister, you don't need to go. You can ride with me. We have a private jet. She ended up riding private jet with two gentlemen who treat her like a queen and then even tell her, shouldn't this be? Shouldn't this be the way women like you,
Yeah.
like us, be treated with respect, with honoring, taken care of, but not in a way, oh, you need to take care of me, but taken care of with honor.
Yeah.
And she says, I like that. I love that. I'm keeping it on my
Yeah.
manifestation list.
And equally, and we are
Yeah,
here to honor the man. Like it's a
absolutely.
equal
Yeah,
honoring of
yeah,
the sacred feminine and masculine that we
mm,
are, or sacred being for those
yeah,
that identify with being non-binary,
mm, mm,
honoring the sacred
yeah.
being that we are.
So yeah, she says to her assistant, after all her experience of like synchronicity and serendipity and just fully trusting
Yeah.
and doing her spiritual work, and then she says to her assistant, says, "Book me a economy."
Really.
Yeah, she doesn't know why. She said, "At least in my mind, I thought, oh, then with the money saved, we can offer a child in Africa
Yeah.
1 year or a few years of education.
Yeah.
Why not?"
Mm.
For me, just a few hours sitting, I can read books. No worries. What luxuries cannot offer me this satisfaction? So when she shares that, I'm like
Mm.
goosebumps, tears. Like so
Mm.
much,
Mm.
so much love. Yeah, and then
On
so
your way to Nectar View. That's all on the way
yeah,
to Nectar View, is it?
absolutely. This is right before Nectar Review. Right before Nectar Review, and I meet this woman, and she shares her story, and then I started to share with her of my journey. I said, you would never believe, but I just made a decision not even a month ago that I'm gonna go on this
Celibacy.
celibacy. That because I have a similar pattern as you, like I wanted to bring that love to myself and set good, healthy boundaries in life so that I'm happy. People around me is also happy. I don't need to step into the dark feminine in any way. But sometimes I could be there, but I can really deal with it in a healthy way.
Mm.
So yeah. And then I shared a story actually that came from the yoga training that we did with Danny. I
Mm-hmm.
did with Danny. And she shared a story about Lakshmi. And she talked about there's a one, like you may correct me if I were wrong. This is years ago. Lakshmi had an admirer. One of the gods really admires Lakshmi and he loves her so much. And then on her birthday, he made this huge party and feast for Lakshmi, and he invited all the gods and all the goddesses, Shiva, Vishnu, Saraswati, you name it. Everybody was there with this huge, beautiful decoration and foods, and it's full of abundance. And Lakshmi shows up and sees this god. I forgot the name, by the way, the admirer, and expresses her deepest gratitude with that honor that you just talked about. That we want to honor the sacred masculine because when they provide, they do their best. They really provides. And at the same time, in Lakshmi's soul and heart, she knows this god is not her consort, right? Lakshmi's consort is
Vishnu.
Vishnu, yes. So she goes to Vishnu and she holds Vishnu's hand. She announces that Vishnu is going to be her consort. How much love and worthiness does one goddess need to have in her heart and womb to say no to all of that gifts and in that presence and choose what she truly wants and truly chooses what her soul desires and honors the truth,
Mm.
because we can see ourselves in that story, no? Like,
Oh yeah, it's like it brings me like I have a story like this exactly that I experienced this year. Oh my God.
yeah,
Yeah.
like when the
Yeah.
masculine provides, like my partner, right? He
Yeah.
provides so much,
Yeah.
and I needed to share with him that I'm choosing something
Mm.
else, a different life path.
Mm.
It really like that
Mm.
story stuck with me for years.
Mm.
So I shared this. I had that impulse to share the story with Ila. That's her name.
Eli.
Ila was like, "Oh my God," and she started to like tear up. And she says, "That's exactly the story I need to hear now. That what you're sharing is wrapping up and integrating this whole journey that I just designed for myself." And then she says, "I'm not letting you go before you give me your contact." Yeah. So we kept in contact, and
Mm.
then there I was in Portugal and initiated our journey. I mean, already been initiated, like really, really, met the sisters, met you, and started this whole journey. Oh my God, little did I know. I mean, I knew, my soul knew, but my human was like, wow, so blown away, completely blown away. Oh my God. On day one, even the day one, I was thinking after day one, okay, all my money, the worldly, material things already paid off, already worth it now. After day one, after shedding the skin, I'm like, I'm healed.
You're like, I would like to cry a little bit.
Yes, yes. I'm like, because, when we were setting the intention for the
Yeah,
retreat, everyone was already tearing up
yeah.
and blah, blah. I was like, you know what? I'm jealous of her. I like to cry as well. Because, crying is such a gift. Cleansing tear, cleansing sacred tear.
Mm,
And sometimes it's like fulfilling, abundant, loving tear.
yeah,
It's like tears is such a gift
yeah.
in that sense. In
They
that
are.
sense, the
They are.
warm tears.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
Mm.
how should I start with the nectar of like the nectar of you? I would have to say I completely came back to myself and
Mm.
was just bathed in my own nectar. If I may share some details, like on day one, like I said, it was already so powerful. I never thought I would have done that. I'm not gonna what do you call it when you haven't seen the movie and the movie you don't want to ruin.
Spoil.
I don't want to give a spoiler, but in some of the journeys and the processes we did with Sharada, you really need to be on your edge. And I set the intention that I want to be on my edge. I really want to grow. I'm here to grow. I'm here to transform. So I'm just going to let go of all my identities outside of that circle. Just be a student and just fully receive.
Mm.
And if you ask me to do something, because I trust you so fully and completely, my soul knows I can just fully surrender. I would just go for it. I would not hold anything back. And I did. I did not hold anything back. So with shedding the skin, wow. I never thought I would cry so much without any psychedelic influence. I've been working with the medicine for some
Mm.
years and
Mm.
with the medicine, with the psychedelics, and, with that world, that modality, I had that experience of like crying because you're so in love, crying because you're just healing so much. You're fully embracing what wasn't able to be embraced, and fully in it. But in Nectar of You, whatever you did, the magic
Mm.
you and everyone co-created
Yeah, everyone.
together, the
Everyone.
space, right? The divine feminine and the divine masculine. It was like medicine. It literally felt like ayahuasca every day in different doses for different intention. So after day one with shedding the skin, I felt so like raw and bare and powerful already. Like all those limiting beliefs I had about myself, like I can't do this. Without this relationship, I won't be able to make it. Or, all these like fears, but feel so real was like broken. All the attachment I have about this appearance, like my trauma as a woman, because like when I was younger, I had a name for myself. I call
Mm.
myself good for nothing.
Mm.
Yeah,
Really.
because I was like, okay, what are you good at? You're good for nothing. I, I share this because I believe maybe many of us would have a similar inner dialogue.
Yeah.
Because, my mom never told me you're beautiful or you're powerful or you're smart. She was trying to be humble with Chinese culture. Humble means you say the opposite. Even though my mind didn't believe her, but the little girl, the body was in that environment, it absorbed those messages. So I didn't feel beautiful. I didn't feel powerful. I didn't feel smart. I didn't have any power. I had the power, but I sometimes, one part of me felt like I didn't have the power. We all have that part, right? That part lives in here. So, so that part can be quite strong. Doesn't matter if you're a healer or a coach. We all face that. The only difference is that we are equipped to deal with it, to transform it, to see it, you know? So I'm passionate about this because like everything I have today comes from these hands, come from the real work. Like you got to put in the work.
Yeah.
So from the mantra of
I'm not good
I'm not
enough.
good enough, I'm good for nothing,
Good for
to wow, I have all the power in me to create, to manifest, to create any type of abundance. I already have abundance of friendship, girlfriends, sisters, with my students, with my mentors. I have beautiful relation, beautiful love in my life. I really like created abundance there, but with financial abundance, because due to my childhood trauma, it hasn't been fully smooth. Even though I'm like, it's easy for me to attract abundance, easy for me to attract money, but money comes and then they quickly are going and flowing away. There's always something coming up I need to spend money on. So I just never felt fully confident and fully stabilized. So after day one, I was like letting go of all the illusion the mind creates. And I was like, okay, you can do this. So I was already like, that I could do it, And then because I've been suppressing my wild women and my lover a little bit because I thought I had to.
Yeah.
I thought in order to be received and accepted and create harmony in my relationship with my partner, I had to suppress these archetypes.
Because they can be very scary for the masculine if they're not
Yes.
in touch with their own wild man and own full kingliness or priestessness. And
Yeah.
yeah.
So, like, I just want to own it myself. Maybe I didn't feel
Or
safe
love
enough,
herself. Yeah. Yeah.
but it's raining very heavily
Very,
now,
very,
like
yeah.
big, strong rain, abundance of water,
Yes.
the feminine, the flow. So, yeah, coming back to the self, I didn't allow myself to be fully self. I didn't allow my wild woman to come out. I didn't allow my lover to be fully expressed. And therefore, my creativity was suppressed. And the creativity not only goes to work and, relationship, but also goes to money.
Very much.
Very much
It's
so,
interlinked.
completely. So I realized, this has been suppressed. So I got to liberate that. Of course, the next day we had the lover, and the lover started to come out and play so freely with the support of the wild women, and also like stripping raw and naked and metaphorically, and, and going through that ego death and walking towards the north and coming back and be covered again, and all these rituals and rites of passage plays a huge role in our psychology to help us to embody the strength that we're ready. That self, that scared self, that limited self has already died. That self needed to die for the new self to be emerged. It's like the feet has already grown so much bigger, we cannot continue to wear the same shoes.
Yeah.
If you continue wear the same
Yeah.
shoes,
You
you will
start to,
have painful feet.
yeah.
Yeah.
Calluses.
Calluses and distorted bones even.
Yeah.
So again, those are metaphors.
Yes.
Like
Only metaphors.
only metaphors. So like I felt like I was growing calluses,
Yeah.
So as I was letting go of my old unfit shoes, my old self go, I was able to like let the lover come out, and all of a sudden I was writing again. I haven't written anything really coming from my heart, my womb for years now. I was writing, and then I was getting confidence, and oh my God, the whole energy started to flow. And then my old self came back to me. I just passed my birthday not long ago. On my birthday, one of my birthday presents is a little dinner that all my best friends gathered together, and one of my best friends says, "Let's all share something of what Viv means for us." And what shared most was that I was so brave. That when I see and feel something, when I feel it with my intuition, my body says yes,
You go for
I
it.
go for it. I have that courage. I have that that boldness to go for it. And then when all my best friends were sharing these qualities back to me, I was like, I gotta take some of my own medicine because I lost a bit myself.
Yeah.
Because lovers also,
Yeah.
sometimes lose themselves because
Yeah.
we want to merge with our partners.
Mm.
So again, I own it. It's not the fault of anyone, but because of these archetypes we have in our body, and this is the dharma work that I need to work on
Mm.
myself.
Mm.
So yeah, when my friends share these beautiful gems of who I am, I'm like,
Mm.
yes, I am that.
Mm.
So the courage came back,
Mm.
the boldness came back, and therefore the strength came back.
Mm.
Wow. And running wild on the
Wow.
beach. Wow, that was so healing. So healing,
Yeah.
so liberating. I if I may say that that might have been the most liberating time of my life.
Mm. Wow.
The most liberating. It's not just about the action, the behavior, but
Yeah.
what had already
Happened
happened
before. It's
in
all
the
a build up.
retreat. It's a building up one
Building up.
layer,
Yeah.
peeling one layer by another, and then building up, one layer by another.
Yeah.
So by the time we were running wildly on that
Like
beach,
horses.
oh my God, it was like, ooh, this whole wild feminine coming out, and
Yeah.
we're really
Oh my
creating
God.
this vision of the future, how the feminine can be in different forms, can be wild, can be gentle, can be sweet, can be light, and can be raw, and can be masculine, can be everything, can just like without any shame. I love that Lakshmi song, like, I choose no more fear, I
Yeah.
choose no more
Yeah.
shame. It's like that is in my bone marrow, in my blood, and in my cells.
Ah.
Like, no freaking fear,
Yeah.
no more shame. When shame comes, it's like, I honor you. Thank you for the teaching. I transform you. Namaha. You can go now. Yeah. So that has been quite a journey.
Mm.
7 days.
7 days.
7 days. 7 days. Seven is a magic number. 7 days is short.
Mm.
On some level, it can be so long. It felt like a century. But yet so short
Yeah.
because we had so much fun together.
Yeah.
All the sisters became soulmates,
Mm. Yeah.
our
Yeah.
pods, where we share our deepest feelings and where we teach each other and seeing other sisters and being their
And
full,
brothers, there were some
full
brothers as
brothers
well
also.
also. Yeah.
Sisters showing who they are,
Yeah.
brothers showing who they are.
Mm.
I just feel like we not only done a lot of healing work for ourselves, but also have done that on an energetic level for all the,
For humanity.
yeah, yeah, that's
Absolutely.
how I felt.
Um,
So to wrap it up,
yeah.
after the retreat, I was ready. My heroine is like, yes, this is exactly what I need. I've done so much work. I'm a little tired, overwhelmed, but spiritually, I am so full
Yeah.
that that spirit was just like, hey, we're going that way. This is the decision. I noticed I was able to do things I was never even able to imagine in the last 4 years. I was able to behave in the way that I was fully honoring myself, my truth, without worrying about how others might judge me, because this is a huge fear, I think, not just for myself, but for many people.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
collective human fear. So, and these things limits us to be who we truly are. So, and I was just like being bold and being courageous and just being who I was, being true, being real to myself and then to other people, and being clear and try to be as gentle as possible while I'm being clear, while
Yeah.
I'm being
Yeah.
bold,
Yeah. Yeah.
Luckily, with years of practice,
Yeah.
I do my best anyway,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah.
And I did feel like I need to see Ila again to wrap it up, and
Yes.
Ila wanted to see me as well.
Yeah.
So I shared our retreat with her. She said, I think I was in the retreat with you. Every day I was journaling. Even according to your theme, I was writing something similar to
Oh
what's
wow.
happening. So, like, if you don't believe in energy, you got to believe it now. We're all like entangled in this quantum field for sure. So I had a wonderful meeting with Ila, wrap up like which was a perfect period and wrapping up for her journey and also my
And
journey.
Ila was the woman from the
Ila was a
plane.
woman who is retired and financially
We met
already
her
retired.
again.
I met her again in Portugal because she lives in Portugal. Yeah,
Okay.
so I drove all the way to Faro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I drove all the way to Faro to meet her, and then I got on the
Huh.
plane and came back. And actually, I need to fly to Dubai again and then China. I decided to stay 2 days in Dubai to see one of my clients slash friends. Her name is Amrita. She's Indian. Amrita,
Next.
you explain. This is so funny. You have to. That's why these details are so important. She's like, you have to come to see me. You're flying through Dubai. You have to come to see me. I'm like, yes, I'm coming. So Amrita, please explain what Amrita
The
stands for.
Amrita is nectar. And the immersion is called nectar of you. And the Amrita is the death, the nectar of immortality.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
elixir of you. Like you
Yeah.
are ultimately
Yeah. So coming
that.
from the nectar view,
Yeah.
I meet this person whose name is literally
Amrita.
Amrita, that represents the nectar of us, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I meet her. Yeah, of course, she was interested in my stories. I was started to share about my retreat, and then I met this woman who was like this little angel that universe want me to see and connect, just to see whatever you want is possible. If it's possible for Ila, it's possible for you. It will be a different version, but your own version. So then I started to talk about Ila, and Amrita started to ask me, Ila, she lives in Portugal. I said, yeah. She's originally from this place. I said, yeah. I forgot the name. Shit. Anyway, that's the details, minor details. And
Uh-huh.
she's in crypto. I said, yeah. She was in my house last week before
My
she got on the
goddess.
plane.
My goddess.
How do you write? You can't even make up
No,
stories like
it's
this.
all the universe's
Again,
plan.
how
The
can
big
you
plan.
not trust God, goddesses, and the
Yeah.
universe, this unseen hand?
Yeah.
How can you wave all these little details together so ever so perfectly? So funny. Why do I
Yeah.
need to meet Amrita to share this story? And somehow these women knew each other. Somehow I'm in the middle of the bridge.
Because it's all part of the bigger plan.
Absolutely. I don't know what the plan is, but the plan is big.
The plan is very big.
Yeah.
I told already some of the plans
Okay.
coming.
I also want
Yeah.
to share some of the plan with you.
But I think
Because,
maybe that's gonna be episode 2 because I think it's time to wrap up.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's a kind of a cliffhanger
yeah.
because there are big things here, big things coming. Like you actually know already what I'm talking a little bit.
Yeah, I
If you
don't
if
know
you have
that
watched the
yet.
episode before,
Yeah.
but I haven't told Vivien yet.
Yeah, and
So
I haven't told her my plans yet.
okay,
I
so we're
came to
both
to share with about my plan with her actually.
so to be continued.
Yeah, to be continued. Thank you so much.
We're gonna share with each
Yeah.
other, but we'll
Yeah.
share with you
Yeah,
later.
yeah.
Wow,
So that's the
what a
nectar of
sacredlet!
me, and
Just
I
the
feel
nectar of
like,
you.
yeah, like now I'm full
Yeah.
inside of my own sacred temple with my own nectar.
Mm.
Like I went back to China, just like synchronicities, and like China is big.
China's very big.
China is very big, and I'm lucky enough to be in those like top tier level, like game changer circle. People who really want to change the paradigm,
Yeah.
So yeah, so opportunities and work and just it's coming. Yeah,
It's here.
it's coming.
It's a big calling
Yeah,
from the universe, really, because the time is now
the time is now.
and we need it.
Yeah,
We need it and we don't need it. We need it.
yeah,
And that's the true queen or king. The sovereign being is the one that is in service
mm,
to their people.
mm,
And we haven't seen that in a
mm,
very, very, very long time. We've
mm,
seen the community being service to the
mm,
sovereign, to the
yeah,
king
yeah,
and queen. But that's not how it's supposed to be.
mm,
Like as the king, queen, sovereign being, you're in service to the sacred, to love, and the sacred and love is in the form of this whole universe, the people, the
yeah,
human, the animals, the trees, and
mm,
so yeah, in
absolutely.
service to love.
Service to love,
Yeah,
service to the humanity,
yeah,
the animals, the earth,
yeah.
the true, being the true.
But we
Cause
can't
yeah,
really be until before
Yeah,
until we were really in service to ourselves in that sense, like
absolutely.
by leading ourselves
Mm.
first to the into the dungeon
Oh yeah.
and meeting those
Those dragons
those
and
grumblings and
yeah,
ogos like we call them
yeah.
here in Bali, to like
Mm.
really go and muddy into the muddy, meeting Kali, the dark mother, and die 100,000 times,
Yeah,
and then you remint the coin,
yeah,
and then yeah,
yeah.
then suddenly the calling is much not about you
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah, yeah. No mud, no lotus.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
Intaya. Forgot about
entire
talking about Intaya. The last bit is Intaya. I met
Kinga.
Tinga in our Nectar View. I felt this connection with
Kinga is
her.
the founder of this incredible place that just opened
Beautiful. Just amazing project.
in Nusa Penida.
Yeah. So after I came back to Bali, I just got rooted, and then I got invitation from Kinga's team. So I went to Intaya and we did the whole thing, a retreat. Da, 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 da. I was retreat out already, but I'm like, okay, I'm going. But in the end, I was still receiving gifts from that space. I really feel like the space is really special. It
You
was
know, I
this.
was just there.
Who?
I was just there.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
were
you
just
know.
there.
Okay, so that's gonna also be part of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was there. And
Okay.
then because Kinga is also creating part of our, tribe, creating this new paradigm together. We're all doing it together, I feel.
We are.
Yeah. And yeah, I received a deep, deep message from that space, which I will share with you in a bit.
Okay.
That's the next episode.
The next episode.
Yeah. Hmm.
Oh, thank you so much, Vivian.
Thank you, my sister,
Yeah, from the
my
traumatized feminine to the
divine
divine
feminine.
feminine,
Yeah,
sacred
to become
feminine.
the true queen, to be at service,
Yeah.
first to self and then to others. Yeah. Mm.
Hmm.
Mm.
Is there anything else you want to share with our listeners and our followers and our community, our friends, our world family?
Yes, I do. I want to share that. First of all, I want to share the deep gratitude I have for you to create this platform, to have this opportunity to share my stories, my messages. And thank you. Thank you for listening. And I really do hope that this tribe can really grow and bigger and bigger. Doesn't matter your gender, your age, and it doesn't matter. Those things really don't matter. What matters is like your soul feels the resonance and you feel the calling, and we can truly come together and heal and upgrade our system and really evolve together and co-create that future that's going to be beneficial to all. And being the true earth custodian,
Yeah.
being the earth keeper. And guess what? When we do this, there's so much good karma coming back to our own self. And you be a true, happy, fulfilled, and healthy being, which is the best gift of life. Who doesn't want to have a life like that? So yeah, I'm gonna just like invite you to join this portal, join this community, and let's just walk hand in hand together, and together we can do it. No one can do it alone. So
No.
together, let's do it together. That's all.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh.
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 Where can they find you?
Oh. Um,
Website,
yeah, the
Instagram.
thing is, Instagram, you can find me, Jivivien. I use it to have a portal to connect with my sisters, brothers internationally. But most of my information are in Chinese, in the Chinese social media called WeChat. And my platform is inside of the WeChat website. It's called 绽放生活, Life Blooms. Yeah, I hope that one day you guys can also come to China.
Yes.
She's going to come to China for sure. I know that. Okay, so I'm going to also invite more of you come to China. We also have some amazing culture, amazing places, and maybe who knows, one day we could do it in Tibet. Do some healing work
I think
in
it's happening sooner than later.
yeah, or
Yeah.
in Beijing, even in a big city where
Yeah.
people needs it.
So
Go
much.
where people are in need. That's a message.
Go where people are in need.
Yes. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for making it all the way to here. You're amazing. Flower showering you. And if you like this episode and it gave you something, it would mean the world to us. If you subscribe, like it, sign up to our newsletters, join the community, let us know in the comments what touched you, your takeaways. what landed in you, your questions, and share it with your community, your friends and family, so that we can all remember who we truly are, the purpose of life, and remember you are the gold in and through all the ornaments.
Mm.
Thank
Oh,
you so much.
thank you.
From my heart to yours, deepest gratitude for your presence. May you follow your wildest dreams, live your highest purpose, and expand into the infinite, because that's what you are.